At 14:07 local time, 30,000 feet above open water, the tone inside the cockpit of a U.S. Air Force F-22 Raptor suddenly changes. The AN/APG-77 radar has picked up two fast-moving contacts bearing 082, closing quickly. No IFF response. No friendly signal. The pilot, call sign Viper 111, says nothing. He does not need to. The Raptor's sensor fusion has already assembled the picture for him. Two aircraft are accelerating through Mach 0.95, holding altitude, flying in a tight formation with no drift and no hesitation, moving straight toward his position. Range, 78 nautical miles. The sky is clear, visibility endless. But modern air combat is not won by what a pilot can see with the naked eye. It is won through signals, emissions, and who understands the battle space first. A sharp spike appears on the Raptor's threat receiver. High-powered directional search radar is shifting into track. The F-22 captures everything instantly. Frequency pattern, pulse repetition, modulation changes, all stored in real time. On the composite display, the contacts begin to take shape. Swept wings, twin vertical tails, large radar signature, F-14 Tomcats, Iranian. Range 65 nautical miles. The Tomcats push even faster. Their afterburner signatures flare in infrared. Their radar beam tightens. It is no longer scanning broadly. It is concentrating. Inside Viper's headset, the warning tone sharpens. This is no routine sweep. This is deliberate targeting behavior. Still, he keeps the aircraft steady. No sudden brake, no sharp climb, no rapid descent. Abrupt movement signals reaction, and reaction can reveal vulnerability. Instead, Viper calmly adjusts the Raptor's emission control posture. The jet becomes quieter, not gone, but reduced. Its already tiny radar cross-section tightens even more as he changes aspect by only a few measured degrees. On the Iranian scopes, the return starts to flicker. The Tomcats continue closing. Range, 50 nautical miles. Still no radio call, no warning. No request for identification, just speed. Inside the Raptor, AIM-120D missiles are selected in the internal bays, ready but still safetied. No bay doors open, no visible change outside the aircraft, nothing to suggest what the jet is prepared to do. This is exactly the scenario the F-22 was built for. A head-on, beyond visual range intercept where first look means first advantage. Range, 40 nautical miles. The lead Iranian jet dips slightly, dropping about 2,000 feet. That small move changes everything. A lower intercept improves radar geometry, tightening the solution and reducing interference. It is no accident. Viper answers with a smooth 12-degree bank to the left, just enough to force the opposing radar to recalculate. The Tomcats mirror the turn immediately. They are not simply passing through, they are fully committed. The warning spike sharpens again. Signal strength rises. Range, 28 nautical miles. The F-22 systems fuse every layer of information at once. Radar, passive RF detection, infrared search, offboard data links. A complete three-dimensional picture forms around Viper. Estimated fuel state, possible weapons load, likely effective range. The aircraft understands the timeline of the encounter down to the second. Then the Tomcat radar changes again. The beam narrows further. Sustained illumination. Inside the cockpit, the hard lock warning appears. Now there is no doubt. The lead Iranian aircraft has shifted from tracking to a full fire control solution. Range, 22 nautical miles. Viper does not brake hard. He does not dive away. Instead, he pulls the Raptor up aggressively, climbing from 30,000 feet toward 36,000 in seconds. The F-119 engines respond instantly, delivering clean, relentless thrust without a dramatic afterburner plume. The Tomcats try to follow, but they cannot match the climb rate. At the top of the maneuver, the Raptor rolls inverted and slices back down off-axis. He is not retreating. He is not charging. He is rewriting the geometry. On Iranian radar, the return flickers again. Aspect angle matters, and at certain angles, the F-22 nearly disappears. Range, 18 nautical miles. To the eye, the sky is still calm, blue, and empty. But the encounter has compressed into seconds. Inside the Raptor, the solution box stabilizes over the lead Tomcat. Parameters are well within range. Master arm remains off. No escalation. The Tomcats hold their line. 17 nautical miles. 16. The hard lock tone pulses again. Viper holds the climb one beat longer, then cuts sharply across their nose at high aspect, forcing the Iranian radar to reacquire. For 3 seconds, they lose him. At this distance, 3 seconds is everything. The F-22 levels at 38,000 feet, slightly offset, and now above their ideal look angle. Behind him, the Iranian formation tightens and continues pressing forward. Still targeting, still trying to hold the picture. Range, 15 nautical miles. The margin is gone. No shot has been taken. No words have been exchanged. Yet two Iranian fighters are now deep inside engagement range of a stealth aircraft they cannot reliably track, while the Raptor has shifted into a position they do not fully understand. The next move could decide everything. Then the tone inside the F-22 changes again. Not search, not track, hard lock. The lead F-14 has committed its fire control radar. That means one thing. The aircraft is now calculating the full solution. Range, closure, angle, aspect, every detail needed for a launch. Inside the Raptor, the threat receiver pulses with a steady, unmistakable rhythm. Viper 111 remains composed. He checks the numbers, 38,200 feet. Airspeed just below Mach 1.3 in supercruise. No afterburner plume, no infrared spike. Clean. The Tomcats are lower now, around 34,000 feet. Their nose is tilted upward to keep the lock. That forces their radar to look high, and looking high is harder than looking down. The F-22 rolls right in a shallow 20-degree bank, barely enough to alter the closure geometry. The jet seems almost indifferent, gliding through the sky with complete control. Range, 14 nautical miles. Inside the Iranian cockpit, the AWG-9 radar beam tightens again. High-energy pulse repetition, aggressive and determined. The Raptor records every waveform, every change in signal strength, every shift in frequency and modulation. Data continues pouring through the aircraft. Viper arms missile readiness. AIM-120D active. The internal bay doors remain shut. The missiles sit unseen in darkness, waiting. Range, 13 nautical miles. That is well inside a realistic beyond visual range envelope for both sides. If either pilot commits now, the other has only moments to react. The Iranian radar spike intensifies. Viper hears it clearly. Full weapons-grade illumination. The Tomcat is either bluffing or moments from action. At this distance, hesitation is dangerous. The F-22 climbs again, this time almost vertical, driving hard toward 45,000 feet. The F-119 engines answer without delay. Thrust vectoring keeps the jet stable and precise. Still no afterburner, still clean. Below, the Tomcats struggle to stay with him. Their airframes belong to another era. Powerful, yes, but not built to fight a fifth-generation aircraft in a pure vertical contest. Range, 12 nautical miles. The radar lock flickers, disappears, then returns. The Iranians are fighting to maintain it. At the top of the climb, Viper rolls inverted and slices diagonally downward, forcing the Tomcats to overshoot their predicted intercept line. Their radar must scan again. That costs time. And here, time is survival. Range, 11 nautical miles. The F-22 levels at 41,000 feet, offset 30 degrees from the original path. The Iranian jets are now slightly nose-high, trying to rebuild a stable lock. The warning tone vanishes for half a second, then comes back. They found him again. Range, 10 nautical miles. Inside the helmet-mounted display, both Iranian aircraft are boxed in red. Solid track, solid solution. If this were open combat, the window is there. Viper still does not act. Instead, he cuts his radar completely. Silence. Now the F-22 goes dark, hunting only with passive sensors. Infrared, electronic support measures, and fused data. To the Iranian pilots, the radar return degrades sharply. Their beam is still active, but the target is no longer reflecting the way it should. Range, 9 nautical miles. That is visual merge territory. Viper snaps into a sharp left bank, drops 2,000 feet, and accelerates through Mach 1.5 in supercruise. No visible flame, just speed. The Raptor slips out of the Tomcat's best radar cone. Inside the Iranian cockpit, the warning systems are likely screaming. They know the picture is breaking down. Inside the F-22, the lock tone goes silent, not because the danger has passed, but because the geometry has changed again. Viper pushes into a high-aspect crossing move, sliding laterally across the nose of the Iranian formation. They overshoot. By the time they roll to reacquire, the F-22 is no longer in front of them. He is above, offset, and drifting behind. Range, 7 nautical miles. Now the entire encounter has transformed. What began as a straight-line intercept has become something far more dangerous for the Tomcats. A fight against an aircraft they cannot hold, cannot predict, and cannot consistently see. And in that kind of sky, confusion lasts only a moment before control belongs to the pilot who understands the geometry best. The Tomcats loosen their formation just a little, one climbing and the other dropping, trying to box the Raptor in from 2 angles. But now they are guessing. The F-22 is not. Its passive sensors keep both aircraft tracked with total clarity. No uncertainty, no blind spots, the full picture remains locked in. For a brief moment, Viper brings the radar up, just a tight, deliberate burst. Both Iranian jets appear instantly, hard lock from high and behind. Inside the Tomcats, their warning receivers erupt with noise. Now they understand. They are the ones being targeted. Perfect rear quarter geometry. Range, 6 nautical miles. If a missile had launched in that instant, they would have had almost no chance to react in time. But Viper keeps Master Arm safe. He holds the lock. 3 seconds, then 4. Long enough for the message to land. Below, one Tomcat snaps hard right. The other throws out flares and chaff even though nothing is coming. They are no longer pressing. They are defending. The F-22 remains composed, stable, completely in control as the distance begins to open again. 7 nautical miles, 8. The Iranian fighters descend fast, noses turning back toward home. The Raptor keeps the hard lock for 2 more seconds, then releases it. Silence returns. No missile, no fireball, just the aftermath of a maneuver that reversed the entire encounter in less than half a minute. The sky is still blue. The water below is still calm. But the balance of power has shifted completely. Iran approached like the hunter. Now they know exactly who held control. Range, 8 nautical miles and growing. The F-14S continue descending, spacing themselves defensively, no longer pushing forward. But the encounter still is not fully finished. At 41,000 feet, the F-22 holds steady for 2 more seconds, observing through passive sensors alone. The Iranian crews seem to think they have broken contact. Their radars sweep forward into empty air, searching where the Raptor used to be. They are looking in the wrong direction. Viper eases the nose down and slips back into super cruise, around Mach 1.3 and climbing, still without afterburner. No visible flame, no large thermal signature to betray him from distance. The F-22 arcs wide, high, and silent. The Tomcats never spot it. Within seconds, the Raptor is moving onto their rear quarter, 6,000 feet above and offset. A positional change so clean it feels almost scripted. Inside the cockpit, the display stays calm. Both Iranian aircraft remain painted clearly through infrared tracking and passive RF detection. No radar is needed. The Raptor sees everything. The Tomcats see nothing. Range, 7 nautical miles. The Iranian formation tightens again. Lead and wingman draw closer, perhaps talking, perhaps reassessing. Their emissions spike briefly, then settle. No hard lock, no aggressive beam. They are searching now, not threatening. Viper banks left, slow and deliberate, giving up just enough altitude to shrink the vertical gap. He is not chasing them, he is shaping the fight. At 5 nautical miles, the Raptor is directly behind the lead Tomcat, slightly high, slightly offset. Textbook rear aspect dominance. In a real combat scenario, this is often where the story ends. From this angle, the AIM-120D is at its most dangerous. The Iranian pilot would have almost no useful warning before the final phase. But still, no missile leaves the bay. Instead, Viper taps the radar on once more. Just a short pulse. Focused, precise, intentional. Inside the F-14 cockpit, the warning receiver bursts alive again. Hard lock, from behind. The pilot reacts instantly, yanking into a hard right brake with the nose dropping. Flares streak into the air. Chaff spreads behind in glittering clouds. His wingman splits left. Both aircraft are fully defensive. Neither pilot knows exactly where the Raptor is because the lock came fast and stabilized almost instantly. The F-22 holds it. 2 seconds. 3, 4. Long enough. Then the radar goes dark again. Silence. The Tomcats level at lower altitude and increase speed. Now they are fully committed to getting out. The separation begins widening again. 6 nautical miles. 7. The Raptor stays high, watching, recording, collecting. Inside its mission systems, every response is captured. The delay between brake and flare release, the timing of radar shutdown, the discipline of the formation under pressure. This is not just an intercept anymore, it is also intelligence gathering. Then one of the Tomcats hesitates, just a shallow bank back toward the earlier fight space. Not a full turn, more like a test, a question. Viper answers immediately. He lowers the nose and accelerates, slicing diagonally across their projected path at supersonic speed. For a moment, vapor flashes around the Raptor as it crosses through the air at extreme pace. This time, the Iranian pilot catches a glimpse. A gray shape, high and fast, shifting position with almost unnatural ease. The Tomcat rolls back outbound at once. No more testing. Range, 10 nautical miles. The F-22 climbs again to 44,000 feet, reclaiming the vertical advantage. From there, it can monitor both aircraft through infrared alone. The Iranian radar stays quiet. No more locks, no more directed beams. They have chosen distance over risk. The sky settles again, but control still belongs to the aircraft that owns the geometry. Viper parallels them for another 30 seconds, making sure separation is secure. No rush, no dramatic dive, just a steady reminder of presence. At 15 nautical miles, the Iranian fighters shrink toward the horizon. The Raptor levels out, cruising clean. Master Arm is still safe. The internal bays are still closed. No shot has been fired, no call has been made on the radio, but the encounter has already said everything it needed to say. Iran tried pressure through radar and approach. The F-22 vanished from their picture, repositioned whenever it wanted, and placed them under rear aspect lock without warning. The lesson is simple. In modern air combat, what you can see matters, but what you cannot see decides everything. At 20 nautical miles of separation, Viper turns gently back toward his original patrol path. Fuel is steady. Systems are normal. Behind him, two fourth-generation fighters head home knowing something changed in that sky. They pushed deep enough to threaten. They achieved a hard lock, and in less than a minute, they lost command of the entire encounter. The ocean below remains calm. The airspace grows quiet again. But the information gathered in those few seconds will travel much farther than the jets themselves. Because this was never only about firing, it was about demonstrating how fast the balance changes when one side controls what the other cannot detect. And the F-22 never needed to launch anything to make that point. Range: 22 nautical miles. The Iranian F-14S are still visible through infrared, low against the haze, accelerating away. Their formation is stretched now, lead aircraft slightly ahead, wingman offset left. The encounter could end here, but it does not quite yet. One of the Tomcats hesitates again. Not a full turn, not a true return to the fight. Just a shallow 5-degree bank back toward the Raptor's patrol lane, a final test. Inside the F-22, the passive sensors catch it instantly. No radar required. The infrared signature shifts. The vector changes. Viper 111 adjusts the throttle. Supercruise. Mach 1.4, then 1.5. Climbing. The Raptor surges upward again, reclaiming altitude at 45,000 feet. No afterburner flame, no visible warning. From below, the Iranian pilot finally sees it clearly this time. A faint gray silhouette slicing across the sky at a speed no fourth-generation fighter can match without lighting its engines like beacons. The Tomcat levels off immediately. Test over, range, 24 nautical miles. But the Raptor isn't finished. One last reposition. High on the right flank, outside direct visual range, slightly ahead of their escape path. This isn't pursuit, it's control. Inside the Iranian cockpit, radar sweeps continue, but now they're wide and cautious. No tight beams, no aggressive locks. The mindset has shifted completely, from hunting to leaving. The F-22 pulses its radar again, briefly, narrow, precise. Both Tomcats light up instantly. Hard lock, clean rear quarter geometry. Even from 18 nautical miles, the signal is unmistakable. Inside the Iranian jets, warning receivers flare again. But this time, there's no violent reaction. No sharp break, no flares, no split. Just steady acceleration away from the area. They understand now. After 3 seconds, Viper releases the lock. No escalation, no shot, just confirmation. Range, 30 nautical miles. The Raptor descends gradually to 40,000 feet, keeping a safe trailing distance. Fuel check complete. Weapons still internal, systems normal. Over a secure data link, the engagement log updates in real time. Every radar waveform cataloged, every reaction time down to fractions of a second, every defensive move analyzed. Below, the Tomcats drop even lower, skimming a thinner layer of atmosphere closer to home airspace. No more probing turns, no more testing angles, just a straight exit. The sky returns to calm. But inside the Raptor, the mission goes beyond avoiding a lock. It's about managing the edge of escalation, staying in control without crossing it. At 35 nautical miles, Viper makes one final move. A sharp climb to 48,000 feet, accelerating through Mach 1.6. For a moment, a vapor cone forms around the aircraft as it cuts through the air. It's not required, it's intentional. Below, the Tomcats register the shift instantly on their instruments. Speed, altitude, position. The message is clear without a single word. Control was never theirs. The Raptor levels out again, reducing speed and returning to a normal patrol profile. Master Arm still safe. No missiles launched. Range, 40 nautical miles. The Iranian radars go completely silent. No sweeps, no emissions. The encounter is over. Inside the F-22, the threat display clears. Empty sky ahead. But the data remains. Every second of that exchange, every lock, every reaction, every hesitation has been captured and stored. And that matters more than any launch. Because modern air dominance is not only about firing, it's about controlling geometry, controlling timing, and stepping inside the other side's decision cycle without ever being fully seen. At 50 nautical miles, Viper turns smoothly back toward his assigned patrol route. The ocean below looks unchanged, calm, and endless. The Iranian jets fade into the haze. They entered the encounter confident in radar reach and missile range. They left having been tracked from behind without ever understanding how the position was achieved. No radio calls, no warning shots, just positioning. And positioning decides everything. The F-22 settles back into cruise altitude. Systems quiet, displays clean. But the encounter sits right on the edge of something bigger. Because today, both sides tested the boundary. Iran tested how far pressure through radar could go. The Raptor showed how quickly that pressure can be reversed. No explosion marked the end. No smoke trail cut across the sky. Yet in under 3 minutes, the balance shifted completely, clearly, and without a single trigger pull. The line held, and the aircraft controlling it never needed to fire. Range, 60 nautical miles. The Iranian F-14s are now just fading returns near coastal airspace. No emissions, no signals, gone from the fight. Inside the F-22 cockpit, everything is calm again. Master arms safe, weapons internal, fuel steady, no shots fired. But the moment carries weight, because what unfolded in those compressed minutes wasn't a dogfight, it was a demonstration. From first detection at 78 nautical miles to final separation beyond 50, every second was recorded, every radar signature captured, every maneuver measured. The moment the Tomcat switched to hard lock, it crossed from presence into intent. That moment matters. The Raptor didn't answer with force. It answered with geometry. By climbing above the radar cone, forcing upward tracking angles, and slipping out of view through precise aspect control, the F-22 used stealth exactly as designed, not just to hide, but to deny a stable targeting solution. The Iranian pilots pushed to maintain lock. They increased power, tightened their beam, fully committed to fire control mode, and in doing so, they revealed everything. Frequency bands, pulse patterns, lock duration, reaction timing under pressure. Inside the Raptor's systems, that information is no longer theoretical. It's real, recorded, and understood. Everything was captured, cataloged, and stored. Every detail indexed for later analysis. Then came the turning point. The F-22 repositioned quietly, moving above, offset, and then slipping behind the Tomcats. No dramatic turns, no visible bursts of power, just patience, precise control, and sustained thrust. When the Raptor finally painted both aircraft from their 6 o'clock position, the entire situation shifted in an instant. Rear quarter lock at 6 nautical miles is decisive. The Iranian pilots reacted exactly as expected. One broke away, the other deployed flares and chaff, both maneuvering defensively. Every action was recorded, every response timed. But no missile followed. That restraint was intentional because the goal was never destruction. It was control. In modern air combat, the aircraft that detects first has the advantage. The aircraft that stays undetected gains even more, but the one that controls escalation holds the highest ground without ever needing to fire. In this encounter, the F-22 demonstrated all three. The Iranian fighters attempted to assert pressure using radar, closing distance and committing to a hard lock within engagement range. The Raptor answered by slipping out of their solution, reappearing where they were least prepared, and placing them in a vulnerable position without warning. That entire sequence unfolded in under 90 seconds. And it decided everything. There were no radio calls demanding separation, no visible warning shots, no signals meant for public display, just silent, calculated maneuvering at 40,000 feet. The Tomcats disengaged not because they were told to, but because they understood the situation. They understood that if the scenario had shifted from simulated pressure to a real launch, they would not have had time to react. The sky returned to calm, but something had changed. Iran tested reach. The F-22 demonstrated control. From a distance, it would seem uneventful. 2 aircraft approached, then turned away. No conflict, no escalation. But in terms of air dominance, everything happened. The Raptor showed it could absorb a radar lock without losing initiative. It manipulated altitude to disrupt targeting solutions. It slipped out of 4th-generation radar coverage. It repositioned into a decisive angle without being detected. And it established rear aspect lock without escalating further. This is not theory. This is real-world capability. At 70 nautical miles from the initial intercept point, Viper 111 stabilizes back on patrol. The mission continues as if nothing unusual occurred. No change in posture, no reaction. Because this was never about winning a fight. It was about maintaining control of the airspace without crossing into open conflict. The Iranian pilots returned knowing something they did not fully understand before. Radar strength alone does not guarantee control. Speed alone does not create initiative. And locking onto a stealth aircraft does not mean you own the situation. The engagement ended without a missile ever leaving the aircraft. But the message was clear. If it had continued, it would have ended quickly. The F-22 didn't need to prove its ability to strike. It demonstrated something more important: inevitability. What unfolded above that stretch of ocean was not a battle. It was a reminder. Air superiority is not about noise, aggressive maneuvers, or overwhelming signals. It is about who controls the space between detection and decision. In this moment, that control belonged entirely to the Raptor, and the side that controls that moment controls the sky.